Felicia was smart, confident, and kind. She worked in marketing and had a natural way with people. Her job involved helping companies shape their image and connect with the public. She was especially good at listening and understanding what people wanted to say, even if they didn't know how to say it themselves. Her coworkers often said she had a gift. She was also warm and thoughtful, the kind of person people trusted quickly. One day, Felicia was assigned to a big new campaign at her firm. A well-known businessman named Nathan was starting a foundation to support small businesses in low-income communities. He was rich, successful, and often in the media. He wanted the public to see him as someone who gave back. Felicia was chosen to lead the PR efforts for the launch. Their first meeting was in a large office downtown. Nathan walked in with a big smile and a confident step. He greeted everyone warmly, but when he got to Felicia, he paused and smiled more deeply. "I've heard great things about you," he said. Felicia smiled back. "Hope I don't disappoint." He laughed. That was the beginning. Over the next several weeks, they worked closely together. Felicia helped him write speeches, prepare for interviews, and build the public side of his campaign. They spent hours going over messaging, event planning, and press outreach. They often spoke after hours, and sometimes their conversations drifted away from work. Nathan was charming, funny, and full of ideas. He also asked her about her life, her background, her views. He made her feel like her voice mattered. He often complimented her work and told her she was different from others he had worked with before. Felicia appreciated his attention and the way he seemed to genuinely enjoy her company. Eventually, he asked her out to dinner. "It's not business," he said. "I just want to spend more time with you." They went to a nice restaurant. Felicia tried not to think too much of it, but the dinner was lovely. Easy conversation, laughter, and a walk under the city lights. The next day, flowers arrived at her office with a note. Last night was perfect. Soon they were dating. The relationship grew quickly. Nathan wasn't hiding it. He talked about her openly, brought her to events, and posted pictures of them together online. The media took notice. Stories appeared calling them a modern, progressive couple. Some praised Nathan for dating a smart black woman, and while those comments made Felicia feel a little uncomfortable, Nathan seemed pleased by the attention. She told herself the attention didn't matter. What mattered was that he was kind, and he seemed to care about the things she cared about. He asked thoughtful questions. He listened when she talked about her family and her values. He told her she was strong, real, and not afraid to speak her mind. 6 months after they met, Nathan proposed. He took her to a rooftop dinner, complete with candles, music, and champagne. Near the end of the night, he got down on one knee and said, "I can't imagine life without you." Felicia said yes. The ring sparkled, her hands shook, and she trembled as he kissed her. She believed this was real, that this was love. They began planning a large wedding. The guest list included celebrities, politicians, and media figures. A wedding planner took care of the details, but Felicia still felt overwhelmed. The press buzzed with excitement, calling their union a perfect mix of success, love, and social awareness. Nathan didn't mind the publicity. He even welcomed it. Felicia's parents were a bit cautious at first. They had questions. Was he serious? Would he truly understand their daughter? But Nathan made an effort. He showed up on time. He brought gifts. He asked her mother for old family recipes and promised to learn how to cook her favorite meal. Slowly, he won them over. Her friends were happy for her, though a few raised quiet concerns about how fast things were moving. Felicia smiled and told them everything was fine. She believed it. She believed in the relationship. Even as the attention from the outside world grew louder, she stayed focused on the bond they shared. Yes, they came from different worlds, but love could cross those lines. He said he admired her strength, her independence, her warmth. He said he wanted to support her in anything she chose to do, whether she stayed in PR or started her own company one day. He talked about building a future, a house, maybe a family. Felicia felt safe with him, like she had found someone who didn't just see her outer success, but valued who she was inside. When they were alone, things felt simple and good. She ignored the small doubts that crept in now and then, like when strangers commented on how inspiring their relationship was, or when articles focused more on what Nathan stood to gain than on who she was. At times, it felt like people didn't really see her. They saw a symbol or a headline. But Nathan always told her not to worry about that. People are going to talk, he said. What matters is what we have. She believed him. In the early days, everything felt like a dream. Felicia was in love with someone who seemed to love her back. They laughed together, made plans together, and stood together in front of the world. It felt real. But, like all dreams, this one had edges she couldn't see at first. The wedding planning moved forward. Felicia picked colors, flowers, and dresses. Nathan handled the venue and the guest list. It was going to be big. Their names were in magazines and online articles. Many people called them a power couple. Some praised Nathan for being so modern and open-minded. Felicia started to notice things. Nathan seemed more interested in the public image than the relationship itself. He asked her to attend events with him, not because he wanted her company, but because it would look good. He began talking more about how the wedding would help his brand. "People love the story," he said once, looking at his phone. "They eat this stuff up." At first, Felicia tried to brush it off. Maybe he was just excited. Maybe he didn't mean it that way. Then she heard him talking to a friend one evening. She had stepped out of the room, but came back quietly when she realized he was on the phone. He was laughing. "Yeah, man, it's great for my image. She's smart, beautiful, and, it just checks all the right boxes. I don't even have to do anything. People just assume I'm the good guy." Felicia stood still. Her chest felt tight. She didn't want to believe what she had just heard. Later that night, she asked him about it. "Do you see me as part of your image, or do you really love me?" Nathan didn't answer right away. He looked surprised, even a little annoyed. "Felicia, come on, don't do this. You know how the world works. People talk. We can't control that. What matters is that we're together." But his words didn't help. Something had shifted. Felicia started to question everything. She thought about all the moments they had shared. Were they real, or were they just useful to him? The way he talked about her, the way he brought her to every event, it all felt different now. Less like love, more like a plan. Over the next few days, she pulled back. She didn't call him as much. She asked to postpone a few wedding meetings. Nathan noticed, but instead of asking how she felt, he got defensive. "Are you trying to ruin this?" he asked. "Do you know what this wedding means for us?" That's when she knew. He didn't say what it meant for her. He didn't even ask. Felicia made her decision the next morning. She told him she wanted to postpone the wedding, to have some time to think without the pressure of a looming society wedding messing with her thoughts. He just looked frustrated and confused, like he had lost something valuable, not someone he loved, but something that worked well for him. A few weeks later, she saw pictures of him online with a new woman, a smiling blonde. The caption said they had met at a charity event after the power couple had broken up. It also spoke about Felicia's nondescript background, going on and on as though the reporter had scrounged about for any newsworthy tidbits about her and coming up empty, had been forced to fill the space assigned to her with fluff. In contrast, the blonde, the new woman, was positively attention-grabbing. Her beauty and her pedigree were enough to relegate the public's memories of Felicia to the background. The spin on the story was that Felicia decided that she wanted to marry in her own class and people group, and that the split between her and Nathan was very friendly. Felicia looked at the photo for a moment, then put her phone down. Her heart ached at the discovery that she was so easily replaceable, but she also felt the peace of knowing that she had done the right thing. At first, it was hard. Friends and coworkers asked what had happened. She kept the answers short. "It just didn't work out," she said. She didn't want to explain everything. Some people wouldn't understand. Then, slowly, her laughter came back, and so did her calm. But Nathan didn't stay quiet. He started messaging her. At first, it was simple. "Hope you're doing well." Then it became more emotional. "I miss talking to you." And then, "I made a mistake." Felicia didn't dignify him with a response, but he didn't give up. One night, he showed up outside her home. "I miss you," he said. "That thing with the new Penelope, it wasn't real. It was all an act. I keep thinking about you." She listened, but her face stayed still. "So what do you expect from me?" she asked. "I didn't realize what I had," he said. "I was stupid." "So? Now that you have realized it, so what? What do you expect?" He was quiet, not daring to speak in the face of her nonchalance. Whatever he had expected, he had not expected her to not care. She had always cared. It was he who had used her like a commodity to boost his reputation. So why was she suddenly so unfeeling? He asked himself. After Felicia left, Nathan didn't waste time. Within a week, he was seen out with someone new, a tall, blonde woman who came from a well-known family. She was the kind of woman the press liked. She smiled perfectly, wore the right clothes, and said all the right things. Her name was Penelope Del Rey. Nathan made sure they were seen together. They went to charity dinners, award shows, and even small events. Paparazzi caught every moment. On social media, he posted pictures of them laughing, holding hands, and looking happy. To most people, it looked like he had moved on fast. Some praised him. He deserves to be happy, they said. Others whispered, that was quick, but no one said anything to his face. Nathan didn't care. He wanted people to see that he was fine, that he hadn't lost anything. But behind the pictures and smiles, Nathan felt empty. Penelope was nice enough, but something was missing. Their conversation stayed on the surface. She didn't challenge him or ask deep questions. When he told jokes, she laughed too quickly, even when they weren't funny. And when he talked about work or problems, she often just nodded, then changed the topic. He started noticing little things. When they had dinner, she scrolled on her phone. When he brought up a book he had read, she blinked and said, "I don't really read much." When he felt down and quiet, she didn't ask why. At first, he tried to ignore it. He told himself it was just a different kind of relationship. Not everyone is like Felicia, he thought. Maybe that's okay. But it wasn't okay. He started comparing Penelope to Felicia, even when he didn't want to. He missed the way Felicia listened, how she looked at him when he spoke, like she really cared. He missed how she asked about things that no one else noticed, like how he was sleeping or how he was feeling deep down. He missed the way she challenged him, kindly but clearly, when he was being unfair or thoughtless. She had never tried to impress him, and she never let him get away with empty words. At the time, he had found that difficult. Now he missed it like a part of himself had gone missing. His friends started to notice. At first, they kept things light. "You look tired," one said. Another joked, "She wearing you out already?" But as time went on, their jokes stopped. They saw it in his eyes. He wasn't really present. He laughed less. He drank more at events. He stayed quiet in conversations. One night, after a long event, his old friend Marcus pulled him aside. "You good, man?" Nathan forced a smile. "Of course." "No, really," Marcus said. "You've been off lately. What's going on?" Nathan sighed and looked down at his drink. "I thought I had everything figured out," he said, "but I feel lost." "You miss her," Marcus said. He didn't need to name her. Nathan nodded. "Yeah, I do, a lot." "You messed up," Marcus said, not unkindly. "But it's not just about missing her, is it?" Nathan paused, then said, "She made me better. Not just the guy with the money or the prospects. She saw the good and the bad, and she still cared." Marcus nodded slowly. That kind of thing doesn't come around often. Nathan knew that. Every day with Penelope made that clearer. He started to feel like he was pretending, smiling in photos, nodding at events, but feeling like none of it mattered anymore. He missed the quiet moments with Felicia, sitting on the couch, talking about random things, or not talking at all, and just feeling at peace. He missed her kindness, not the kind of kindness that comes from politeness, but the deep kind, the kind that stayed even when things were hard. He remembered how she had supported him when his father got sick, how she had written personal notes to his staff during tough projects, how she had looked at people, even strangers, with empathy. Penelope was beautiful, but she didn't see people like that. She didn't see him like that. The relationship with Penelope started to fade. He canceled dates. He stopped posting pictures. One day, after another of their usual arguments about nothing, he hinted about leaving politics altogether if it meant arguing with his wife behind closed doors while pretending to be happy in public. She had finally looked at him, stunned. He was her ticket, and she needed him to stay in the game. She thought he was as clear as she was that they were using each other. BTU, here he was having doubts. She asked him, pointedly, disgusted, "Do you still want this?" He didn't answer. So she stormed out. He didn't chase her. Neither cared about the paparazzi that camped around the building, always on the hunt for gossip. After she was gone, Nathan spent more time alone. He didn't go out much. He looked at old pictures of Felicia, photos of them laughing, traveling, building their life. He wondered if she had truly moved on. He wondered if she would ever speak to him again. He thought about reaching out again, but he was afraid, especially after their last conversation. "What do you expect?" She had asked him, and he had not been able to give her an answer, not after the way he had treated her. He had lost any right to expect anything from her. What hurt the most wasn't that she had left. It was that he hadn't seen what he had until it was too late. And now he wasn't sure how to make it right. Felicia was not looking to meet anyone new. After the media circus that she had lived in for a little while, all she wanted was peace. She focused on work, spent time with her small circle of friends, and stayed away from social media and celebrity news. She was healing more every day. So when Paul sent her a message, she was surprised. Paul was one of Nathan's friends. They had met a few times at events or dinners, but they had never spoken much. He was quieter than the others. While Nathan and his group talked loudly, made jokes, and loved attention, Paul usually sat to the side, looking a bit like he would have preferred to be elsewhere. A few days after the news about Nathan and Penelope broke, he reached out to her just to make sure she was okay, he said. A few weeks after that, he sent her a message. He had read something she wrote for a marketing campaign and wanted to say it was good. Felicia wasn't sure what to make of the compliment. It was kind, but she wondered why he was reaching out. She replied with a polite thank you. That was all. A few days later, he sent another message. He had been thinking about something she once said at a fundraiser. He remembered how clearly she had spoken and how people had really listened. Again, she replied, but this time with more words. "Thanks, I didn't think anyone remembered that night," she said. He did. They started exchanging short messages, nothing romantic, just respectful and warm. Paul never pushed. He didn't bring up Nathan. He didn't ask personal questions. He just spoke like someone who truly respected her. One day he asked if she wanted to grab coffee. Just a quick chat. No pressure. She thought about saying no, but something about Paul felt calm. He didn't come with drama. He didn't try to impress her. So she said yes. They met at a quiet cafe, no cameras, no crowd, just two people sitting and talking. Over time, they started meeting for lunch, then dinner. It was different with Paul. There was no big media story, no spotlight. Just two people learning about each other, step by step. He apologized for Nathan, and for all men of his kind in general, men who used women. It's his father. He wants him to be a senator one day, and he wants him to position himself as popularly as possible, and that means getting a black wife so as to get the black vote. Even if you get divorced, his campaign will show his sympathy for people of color. Okay, but there are many women of color in his class. Why did he come for me? I'm just a nobody. Paul smiled sheepishly as he answered honestly, because he thinks he will need the votes of the working class too. He just wanted to cover all his bases. "Ah, I see," Felicia said. She didn't feel bad. She only had clarity at last about what their relationship had been about. "But why didn't you tell me this before? Some friend you were." Her friendly smile took the bite out of her words. Paul blushed. "You looked happy, and to be honest, in our circles, it's not uncommon for marriages to be political alliances, and everyone is happy about it. Even Penelope knows that he does not love her, and she only needs him so she can be a senator's wife in future. As long as the cards are all on the table, everyone is happy." "Obviously you didn't know," Felicia smiled. "I thought I was happy too. And now, are you happy with me? I'd like us to date seriously," he said, his voice quiet and hesitant. She asked him, "And what alliance are you making with me, Paul Graham?" "Only love," he said, his eyes looking steadily into hers. "I have no political ambitions. I am a businessman. I only want a happy home, happy children, and to hold the hand of the woman I love for the rest of my life." Her friends noticed the change in her almost immediately. "You seem more at ease," one said. "I'm still figuring things out," she replied, but she smiled when she said it. Finally, It seemed that Nathan had gathered up the courage to speak to her again. Felicia was sitting at her desk at work, going through emails, when her phone buzzed. The name on the screen made her pause. It was Nathan. She hadn't heard from him in months. She opened the message. It was short. "I've been thinking about you a lot. Can we talk?" Felicia didn't reply. She stared at the screen for a long time, then put the phone face down. That night, he sent another message. "I know I messed up. I miss you. Please let me explain." Still, she didn't respond. But the next day, a delivery came to her office, a large bouquet of roses. A card was tucked inside. "For everything I didn't say when I should have." It wasn't signed, but she knew it was from him. People at the office whispered, some smiled. Felicia just looked at the flowers, then quietly placed them aside. Later that week, Nathan showed up outside her building. She was walking home when she saw him standing near the entrance. He looked nervous. "Felicia," he said, "please, just a few minutes." She sighed. "You shouldn't have come." "I had to," he said. "I needed to say I'm sorry for everything. I didn't realize what I had until I lost it." Felicia crossed her arms. She didn't say anything. Nathan went on. "The truth is, I didn't understand how much you meant to me. I thought I needed someone who fit my world, but I see now you were the best part of it." His words sounded honest, but something in her had changed. A few months ago, she might have been swept up in the emotion. Now she stood still and calm. "Is this about me?" she asked. "Or about how you look without me?" Nathan looked surprised. "I mean," she continued, "do you miss me, or do you miss the way people saw you when I was beside you?" "I miss you," he stammered, his eyes suddenly unable to hold her steady gaze. Felicia looked at him carefully. She saw the charm, the desperation. But she also saw something else. Regret, yes, but not the kind that comes from hurting someone. It was the kind that comes from losing something valuable. That was not the same thing. "I've changed," he said. "I've been going to therapy. I've been thinking about my choices. I know I failed you, but I want another chance." She didn't give him an answer. She simply said, "I'll think about it." For days, he kept trying, sending her more flowers and text messages. However, she noticed that he never did so from the same florist twice, nor did he send the texts from his own phone. He was giving himself plausible deniability, she realized. She was still just a means of propaganda to him. He wanted to be able to deny that he ever reached out to her. Deacon, an old friend of Nathan's, called her. "He's serious," he said. "Won't you give him a chance?" One evening, she told Paul about the messages and the visit. He nodded and said, "Whatever you choose, I just want you to be happy, but I hope you choose me." That was it. No pressure, no guilt. He never made her feel like she owed him anything. And that was when Felicia knew. Nathan came with empty apologies and the promise of an empty future full of rehearsed public displays. But Paul, he offered her a normal life. A week later, Nathan asked her to meet for dinner. "Just dinner," he said, "no pressure." She agreed. They met at a quiet restaurant. He was dressed sharply. He pulled out her chair, spoke with care. He told her more about how he was changing, how life without her felt cold and dull. "I'm ready to be the man you deserve," he said. "I've learned my lesson." Felicia listened. She didn't interrupt. When he finished, she spoke. "I believe you want to be better," she said, "and I hope you keep working on that. But I don't think I'm the one you're meant to do that with." His face dropped. "I'm not angry anymore," she added, "but you may not realize this, but you don't love me. Not a bit." He tried to argue, but she shook her head gently. "You didn't see me until I was gone," she said, "but someone else did, from the beginning." She stood up, thanked him for dinner, and walked out. There was no big moment, no tearful goodbye or dramatic argument, just a calm understanding in her heart that going back to Nathan would be like stepping into an old costume, something that used to fit but never belonged to her. That night, she called Paul. In Place, when he answered, she said, "I think I'm ready, if you're still willing." He smiled through the phone. "I've been here," he said, "and I'm not going anywhere." In the weeks after she ended things with Nathan for good, she began to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time: lightness. It wasn't excitement or joy exactly. It was the kind of quiet freedom that comes when you stop pretending. With Paul, everything was simple, not boring, just safe, warm, honest. He didn't try to impress her. He didn't need to show her off. He didn't post pictures or talk about her to prove anything. He just asked how her day went. He brought her favorite coffee without being asked. He paid attention. They started going on more walks together, long ones through the park or around the city. Sometimes they talked about work or family. Other times they just walked quietly, side by side, letting the silence say what words couldn't. Felicia wasn't in a rush. She had rushed before. This time, she took her time, and Paul let her. One evening, as they sat on a bench watching the sun go down, she turned to speak to him and caught the tint of his face in the growing dimness, and she realized that she was in love with him and he with her. And she knew it all in that moment that this was where she was meant to be. She forgot what she was going to say and said instead, softly, "I want this." Paul smiled and reached for her hand. "Let's set a date," he said, intertwining his fingers with hers and turning the back of her hand to kiss it. Now that she was planning a second wedding in less than 2 years, the media finally found her buzzworthy, and social media was again awash with news about her. Nathan saw it too. He didn't reach out again, but now and then he watched her life unfold from a distance. Mutual friends, social media, a glance at a photo. He saw Paul beside her. He saw the way her smile looked relaxed now, like she wasn't performing for anyone. He saw that she had moved on, and not just to someone else, but to something better. He didn't feel angry because he knew that she was right. Maybe he did not know how to love. Maybe at the bottom of his heart, he felt that women and marriage were nothing but tools to be used in the attainment of his ambitions. Because he saw Felicia for the beautiful person that she was, and he knew that he had lost someone special, but he just could not put his ambitions aside. He thought about all the times she had tried to connect with him, explain herself, ask for more than surface-level love. And he realized he had been listening with half an ear, too full of his own goals, too busy trying to look right instead of being the right man for her. He kicked himself for not going after her, for letting her walk away, for replacing her so immediately, for everything. Felicia, meanwhile, didn't carry bitterness. She didn't need to prove anything by being happy without Nathan. She simply lived. She and Paul cooked dinner together on Sundays. They watched documentaries and laughed at silly jokes. They took road trips to small towns and sang along to the radio. Her love story was no longer made for show. It was built on slow mornings, hard conversations, and mutual respect. She didn't need grand gestures or perfection. She didn't need people to admire her relationship or label it progressive or inspiring. She just needed someone who loved her and who she could trust and respect. And now she had that.